Get right out of your way.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here today. Just before we get started on the real reason we're here today, I want to make just a quick comment about the last week in Japan. We returned Saturday night. It was an incredible week. We met with about 25 different companies, energy companies, buyers of LNG from both Japan and Korea. At the conference I spoke at, it was pretty amazing, the high level of interest and engagement for the natural gas that we have on the North Slope in the grounds. It was very encouraging to receive the kind of welcome and engagement that we did receive. Now for the reason we're here today, a couple of preliminary comments. One is a very significant one. We want to acknowledge the late Mike Burns, who was Executive Director of the Alaska Permanent Fund Corporation, who did a phenomenal job. He was just, I can't say enough good things about what he did, what he represented, and how he did it. He absolutely loved what he did, and he was Alaska is, and the Permanent Fund Corporation is what it is today in large part because of Mike Burns. You know, the actual dividend amount, I know that's what the moment is not going to be announced by myself. It's not going to be announced by Lieutenant Governor Malott. It's going to be announced by Shania Summer. Shania is a 7th grade student in Palmer Junior Middle School, and she's going to be the one that we're going to say a few words beforehand. She's going to come up and make the actual announcement, because this really is about the next generation. You can hear about this generation, the last generation a bit, but it's really about her generation. So we're very honored to have Shania help us out today and give you what all you are waiting for as far as that what that dollar amount is. Let me just say a few words about just briefly about the permanent fund. Sort of the irony of this year. You know, the permanent fund represents our resource wealth, and for the first time, we have a lot of firsts this year. First, it's the first of us to be here doing this. And, you know, we're pretty insistent that this not become politicized, this process not become politicized, and we're not trying to make it so. And we're only here, Lieutenant Governor Malott and myself, just to send a message that we're in a very unique situation this year. The first time in Alaska's history, this will be the largest permanent fund announcement. I don't want to get ahead of Shania's announcement, but it'll be a large one. Secondly, it's the first time in Alaska's history that the earnings from the permanent fund have exceeded the earnings from oil, and that's a first as well. This will be the highest payout. This payout will be higher than than the cost of education in Alaska from K through 12. It really has. So we're in a bit of a dilemma this year, given that with the price of oil, half our income went away, and we're in about a $3 billion deficit. So this year we'll be looking at ways of balancing the budget with a plan going forward. We'll work with the legislature on that. So so while this dividend is going to be a welcome into our economy, as it should be, it's also at a time that our economy we're borrowing funds to do what we do in this state. So it's a real different scenario. We've never been in that situation before. You know, well, while we were making some difficult decisions in the state as far as involving you know, ferry service in certain parts of Alaska, laying off investigators of cold climate cases in Anchorage, the Fox well in Fairbanks, laying off firefighters in McGrath. We'll have to making some tough choices this last session, and going forward we will as well. And so we really want to try to make sure that message is there as well, because some may see this dollar amount, which Shania will announce, and go, well, everything is fine. Well, it's not. We have some challenges as a result of the price of oil, and I don't want to over dwell on that today, but I certainly wanted to make comment about that. You know, our job is to make sure when we balance the budget that no particular area of our state, of our economy, of Alaskans bear an insignificant, disproportionate burden of that, of the impact of that. You know, we owe a big debt of gratitude to those that had the foresight to establish a permanent fund, and I'm so honored to have as my co-announcer today, Byron Malott, Lieutenant Governor Malott. He served on the permanent fund for many years and was the executive director of the permanent fund. So it's really appropriate for Byron to say a few words.
Thank you, Governor. I had the distinct honor to be appointed to the Board of Trustees of the Alaska Permanent Fund Corporation in 1992 upon the retirement of Elmer Rasmussen, who was the first chair of the Board of Trustees of the Alaska Permanent Fund Corporation. And I served as a trustee and for several years was chair of the board during that period, 1982 through 1990. I had the honor to serve with the next speaker. I've had the opportunity subsequently in 1995 to be selected as the executive director of the Alaska Permanent Fund Corporation and served in that capacity until the year 2000. I'd like to emphasize that I learned during that period of time and operated in my decision making as a trustee and as the executive director of the fund on the premise that the permanent fund was created to take some portion of Alaska's one-time revenues that we were getting at the rate at the start of Prudhoe Bay of some 2 million barrels a day flowing through the pipeline, and put those revenues into a status, into an account, into a fund that would allow us to meet when petroleum revenues began to decline. And today those revenues are at 500,000 barrels a day, approximately. The price of that petroleum is very, very low. It's declined from $150 a barrel just several years ago to averaging around $50 a barrel today, without any forecaster, any prognosticator or expert suggesting that oil prices are going to increase materially anytime soon. So as we look at a budget with roughly a $3 billion shortfall in general fund revenue, the notion, the clarity of those who founded the fund, those who developed the fund, that ultimately the purpose of the fund was to help meet Alaska's fiscal needs, its state revenue needs, when the rainy day occurred, when we needed to begin replacing non-renewable oil wealth with renewable financial wealth. That time is now. And as the governor said, the decisions we have to make are hugely important. They will affect us far into the future. Thus, the announcement coming from this beautiful young lady who represents Alaska's future is so important. So thank you, Governor, for the opportunity.
Thank you. Now I'd like to have a few words from the longest-serving board member on the Alaska Permanent Fund, Mr. Eric Wilforth.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you, my friend Byron, who was, as he said, executive director of the fund when I was on that board. I feel like the speaker coming on just before lunch. Lunch in this case is the dividend announcement that you'll hear shortly. But I was Commissioner of Revenue in the 1970s when the state first came into oil money after the '69 lease sale. And the expenditure of that $900 million that came from the lease sale gave rise to the notion that we'd better save some of our non-renewable oil revenues for future generations. So the permanent fund got its start by constitutional amendment in 1976, nearly 40 years ago. Right now, it's nearly $52 billion. As of Friday, exactly $51,460,500,000. It consists of oil income, legislative appropriations, and unspent earnings from the fund. Its founding parents include notably Governor Hammond and Elmer Rasmussen and a very terrific early executive director, Dave Rose, all of whom are no longer with us. Some of the parents are still with us, like Clark Greening and Arla Sergeluski, to name a few. The first dividend, as you may know, was in 1982, after several years of unsuccessful battles to favor old-timers with larger dividends. And they were battles, and they went right up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said a one-year residency was enough to confirm you as an Alaskan and entitled to your dividend. So what is a dividend formula? It's 1/2 of the last 5 years average of actual income from the fund. There's a disjuncture here. The fund is managed like all endowments for a total return, including unrealized income and realized income, yet the dividend formula is based on actual income alone. In fact, the fund targets itself for a 5% annual rate of return, and it's this annual rate of return that the fund has been advocating for many years should be used for a payout formula. Among other things, it would stabilize the amount of dividends, since we wouldn't be depending on the vagaries of annual dividends. So now, as the governor has mentioned, and Byron as well, Lieutenant Governor Byron, the fund faces new challenges. There are proposals to use some of the unspent income to meet operating expenses, our operating deficit. There are suggestions that the legislature should adopt a new investment policy for the fund. In the last analysis, however, Alaskans have to remember that the fund is theirs. Imagine that you are a stockholder or a shareholder in a company that's been paying dividends without break for 33 years. Obviously, you want the dividend to continue for the sake of your family and the next generation. Under those circumstances, you'd want to know how the fund was managed, and you'd want to know about external events that would cause a change in fund income. So it's necessary that the public become informed about how it works and what it does. There's a great website. Organizations are presenting educational issues, Commonwealth North, Olay, and others. The corporation itself meets in Anchorage on the 29th and 30th of this month, and the public can attend. In the months before the next legislative session, when no doubt bills affecting the fund will be introduced, and some already have been, other groups will meet. So I urge every Alaskan to become an informed investor in the fund for their sake and the sake of the next generation. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. Now the moment you've all been waiting for. Let me tell you a little bit about Shania as she comes up here. Shania, you come up. She is about a month ago, we said we want to find somebody to make this announcement, a younger person than who you've seen up here already today. She's a gymnast. She commercial fishes with her family. She's involved in the Alaska Native Science and Engineering program, So Shania, why don't you step up here? There you go. And she will, she has a few words to say, and then she will open the envelope, which everybody's waiting for.
I can hold it for you if you want to read your notes.
Hello, my name is Shania Summer. I'm a 7th grader at Palmer Junior Middle School, and I'm also on the Denali Gymnastics team. So I hope this is an excused absence. For the past 2 summers, I've participated in ANSEP, the Alaska Native Science and Engineering Program's Middle School Academy. And ANSEP has gotten me even more interested in school. While there, I learned about careers in math and science. My career goals are to become a civil engineer or an Alaska State Trooper like my Uncle Daryl. And I will need to earn an engineering degree, a criminal justice degree, or maybe both. I have been saving my Alaska Permanent Fund dividend to help pay for my college education, so I am excited to tell you the amount of the 2015 Alaska Permanent Fund dividend. $2,072.
There you go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And you can keep that. Okay? Thank you very much. So we have you all gathered. We have to take a few questions if there are questions.
So, Governor, how many more big checks like this will Alaskans get?
You know, that's not up to us. That's really up to a larger group than ourselves as far as how this money is dealt with. I think that Eric Wolforth and Lieutenant Governor Malott had said it well as far as, we may need to look at how we manage this money differently. So we can't predict that. Nat?
Matt Hurst with Alaska Dispatchers. I guess just to frame that question a little bit of a different way, I mean, are you going to is your fiscal plan that you're going to present to the legislature in this coming year, will it contain some kind of change to the system that's used to pay Alaskans their dividend? And if so, what's it going to look like?
I think that we have to look at all of our resources, and this is our largest one at this point. So I think a fiscal plan that did not in some way look at this, I don't think would be a well-balanced fiscal plan. So I think we will have to take a look at that. You bet.
And are you still sort of determining what exactly that looks like?
We are, and we're working with the business community. We're working with the legislators. We're working with Alaska Municipal League has submitted some information and suggestions. So it's a broad-based effort. It's not any one individual group. No. So.
All right, you heard it here first. The PFD amount, $2,072. You can tune in tonight at KTVA at 5, 6, and 10 o'clock for more on today's big announcement. Have a great day.
This has been a KTVA 11 special report.